Hey YouTube, thought I'd make a video on changing out the bearings in these 1845Cs. I couldn't really find a great video that was very detailed, and haven't done a lot of them, but I replaced both of them on this side. Now I'm moving over to this side, and I thought I'd give a little rundown on how I did it. First thing you got to do is take these covers off. It helps a lot if you clean up all the shit that builds up around them, so you're not knocking a bunch of dirt and stuff into that chain case. The reason you guys should start with the covers before you do anything else is because these are usually full of water. The other side was. This one ain't bad at all. The other one's up almost to the cog, or the bottom of that nut there. Guess we got lucky on this one, but I just like to see that way I know how much oil I got. That way I can have 2 or 3 pans ready if it's full. Sometimes these are tricky to get out of here. Nice. On to the next step, I guess. Also, pay attention before you change them to how much, I can't get a good angle, but how much slack is in that chain. Quite a bit. The bearings are bad on this side, and will be part of the reason they're loose. Alright. Next, you're gonna block it up. Jack it up however you can safely do it. Make sure you stick the blocks out to where you're sure to trip over them. Then down here, not that plug, that plug is where your oil drains out of. You're gonna drain out your oil. If it's cold like it is now, it's gonna take forever. While that's happening, you can check your bearings. Well, you check your bearings first, but this, they're clearly, you can't really tell. They're clearly loose, both of them. I'm gonna take the tires, or the wheels off, front and back. Then I'll come back to you, show you what to do next. Old stringy carpet, not good for seals. Well, clean up your housings, loosen your adjusters, both sides, clean them up. I'll move on to the next part, I guess. Just thought I'd mention that these bearing housing bolts are 3/4. There's 6 of them on each of them. These are also 3/4. Or if they haven't been adjusted for a while, the head will snap off and they become torch size. Or if that other nut comes off, you can pull your housing off and just pull it out the opposite way. After you get your housings loosened up, you're going to take out that cotter pin right there, then spin that nut off right there. It's 1.5 inch wrench size. Then there's 2 washers, or it looks like 1 there, maybe 2. No, I think there's 2 there. Take them washers off, set the nut, cotter pin, and washers off to the side in a safe spot. You'll then be able to pull your assembly, the whole hub assembly, out of that sprocket there, out the side of the machine. Alright. Know your bearings are bad when you can pull this axle away from the housing like that. Shouldn't do that. But the whole housing, after you get all that loose, will just slide right out of that cog. You want to make sure that this little guy here comes out with it and doesn't fall in there somehow. And there's your seal. That's bad. Now, onto that one. See if this front one is like the back one. It ain't quite as apart as the other ones. But this one's just the same. Pull straight out. No! See? Almost lost the spacer. The spacer is also, this goes over this, right? This also what the seal rides on. So you want to make sure it's not all galled up or chewed up or scratched or anything, so don't tear up your new seal that you put on after you replace your bearing. Alright, once you get your hubs all off and everything, if you don't have a press, you got to kind of do something like this. Just blocked up the housing and left space enough to whack it with a dead blow. This one was loose enough that I went to put that nut on there and it just pushed the axle down. But make sure you put nuts on to your lugs. That way when it falls, you ain't screwing up your lugs. But if you don't have a press, you just put that nut on there. I'd put it on castle side down, then make sure it's up above your axle. I'd whack it with something soft like a brass hammer or dead blow. If that don't get it, you're better off to find somebody to press it out for you so you're not screwing up your axle. And then just start cleaning it up. You'll pull the housing straight off the top, and then start cleaning. You'll have a race down here to get off, and then, well, I'll just show you on the next clip here. Let's get to it. Okay, this is the outside of that housing. As you can see, this whole seal had at one point been wrapped up with twine or something, and it ripped the rubber seal off of it and just kind of folded this in. If you look, you can see all the wear on them bearings, so it's no wonder this thing pretty much fell right apart. You'll pry this seal out and this bearing will come out, and I'll get her cleaned up and show you how to get the races out. Here's a quick comparison. Alright, after you get all the grease cleaned out, this whole cavity is going to be packed with grease, more than likely. Once you get it cleaned up, check these surfaces. Make sure they haven't been galled or whatever. Sometimes when them shafts go bad, it'll eat into this part or this part or wherever. But then you'll start pounding that race out down a little bit at a time until it comes out. You'll have to put a shim on each side of it just to give it more room to come out, because if you just lay it flat, it'll stop, or it'll hit the plate there and won't come all the way out. But I'm going to get these knocked out. I'm going to drive the new races in and I'll come back to you. Before you drive your new race in on the outside part of the housing, you want to clean out this grease hole. Something here. This is what kills these housings, or the bearings. Crap. They'll pack full of twine. You can't get grease to the bearings. Why you want to get it cleaned off every time. Yeah, that ain't twine. Well, part of it's twine, I guess. Just packed full of fibers. That's what kills them, so make sure you get them cleaned out. You definitely don't want to forget to do that, or else you won't be getting grease to your new bearing. So, alright, once you get your race drove in, your new one, you'll know when it's home, because your punch will bounce off of there. You just make sure it's down all the way around.